Uh, no, I was FaceTiming Meryl because she was talking to me about something. Y'all, oh, I should probably hold on. Yeah, no, I was talking to her because I guess Andre had went to like a Reiki healer, and he got delivered, and his spirit feels lighter, and we were just talking about that.
Did he go in person?
Yeah, and
That's so
right? Have you done that before
I've done it on like via Zoom. I've never done it
in person?
but I felt it on via Zoom, so I believe it.
Right? Don't they like do the little grabbing, like,
Yeah, like pulling and like it looks like they're doing some type of ritual, but
yeah. And
yeah,
like, why do I feel lighter?
right.
He was like doing that, and so he sent us a picture of him crying and all this stuff, and
Oh my gosh, wow, that's so cool.
yeah, like it was a good session, I guess. Y'all, this I'm not gonna lie to you, this book was probably our worst pick.
Y'all, between me, before everyone jumps in, I did not even read this book. That's how bad it was.
You didn't read it?
You're better off not reading it, honestly.
Yeah, because I don't know if it added to my life. I can't even say I like, learned
from
something.
mine. It literally took from my life.
It took
from my
life. So right in that.
It was so graphic. Like I was like, "Ooh, I don't want to read this." Like multiple points. I was just like, I was like, I really, if this wasn't for book club, I would have stopped.
100%. 1,000%.
Yes.
Like, I finished the book 15 minutes ago. Like, and I usually finish at least like a day before, but like this was a hard read, and also it was just like, I don't know. I just not good vibes. Not good vibes.
I could list you off 2 characters. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
How are y'all?
Oh, good. How are you?
I'm good.
Did you just get back from a trip or something?
Do what?
Did you get back from a flight or because you're
Yeah, I leave tomorrow. I was supposed to leave today, but they ended up not giving me a trip. Sorry, my dog is crashing this Zoom meeting.
Oh, dogs crash all the time.
Okay.
We were just talking about this last book that we had read. Did you read The Girls or
I did. Yeah.
Oh, you did. Okay. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Well,
yeah, I thought it was kind of identical to the Manson murders.
Yes.
Are you guys familiar with that? Yeah.
Very much. It's like I think it's like literal what happens.
Yeah, it's almost like copy pasted, but it doesn't like disclose that anywhere, which I thought was weird.
Yeah, like can you legally do like but
That's
I guess
what I was
if
thinking.
it's then it's okay, but I don't know.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, y'all didn't even like give him a little shout out. Like we copied literally everything.
Right. Like I didn't really think of this book at all. It's just a retelling.
Yeah, I feel like it was a documentary.
Yeah. I was well, when I read the bio for it, I kept thinking like, oh, this must be like a interpretation. It's not. It's literally exactly what happened.
No, it's literally exactly what happens.
And y'all, at the beginning of the book, there's literally like 4 pages front and back of like praises for this book. And I'm like, I need to go through each one of these people because I don't trust them anymore. Like,
yeah,
because
I know.
But you know, that makes me suspicious. You know, if you have to like put on the first page of your book all the praise that it's gotten.
I know.
I don't trust you.
Yeah.
Like, is it that good?
Yeah.
Right.
If you're telling me it's that good.
Yeah.
Facts. I mean, the cover was cute.
The cover was super cute.
Right.
That's the only thing that we like about this book.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Cindy, I left Sarah's message in the group
Crack
chat.
me up. Crack me up. She goes, you obviously not into
That's the thing though, I was listening to this majority of the time while I was working, and there'll be like certain scenes where I was like,
right?
Uh-huh.
like, what did I just hear? And you weren't kidding, Charlie. That once, as soon as I started hearing, I was like, this is the scene that Charlie's talking about.
Yes.
Why they have to do the little boy? Like, are you serious? Like, I was like, I'm about to go to bed. I was relaxed. I'm like, I'm so mad right now. I didn't even sleep good last night. I really didn't.
No.
Oh no.
I was just like, what am I reading?
You know, honestly, that's your comment made me like, because I was gonna finish it last night. I was like, better not. I'm just gonna wait for today.
I wish I knew.
Oh my god.
Me at 3 a.m. in the morning trying to work while listening to the audiobook, and I'm like, damn, I only have 30 minutes left, which means I am close.
I was listening and I was like,
just trying to figure out like how they were gonna end this. Like, how are you guys gonna end this? And just like how it started.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, anyone have any positive thoughts?
Don't ask me.
I mean, description words, honey, she was great with them adjectives.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
A+ for English. Like verbiage is great.
She had that fucking dictionary out when she was writing this book.
Oh, for sure.
Synonyms for.
Utilizing the thesaurus.
I will say this positive thing that I liked about it. I liked that it gave us almost like an outsider that wasn't an outsider perspective, because she was always an outsider her entire life. Like literally, it seemed like in everything she did. Maybe not when she went to that boarding school for a minute, but because she liked that her roommate liked her or whatever. But I did like that it wasn't like told from I can't remember all their names. Like Suzanne, was it Suzanne?
Donna.
Susanna, I think.
Yeah, Susanna or Donna or Russell, like, or Guy. It wasn't told by like one of the people that like actually committed the murder or like the leader of the cult. So I thought that was creative and I thought that was cool because it really like her character was like one of like, she was always like the fly on the wall type of thing, like person.
Right.
So that's all I'll give it. It's nothing else positive for me.
Is this gonna be the first book that Charlie's gonna rate below a
Like a 5.
9?
Yeah.
A 9, you said? She's given it something an 8 before, right?
I
And to
gave the
piggyback off
lowest
of
I've
that,
given is a 7.5, I think.
Oh.
What were you
a
saying?
lot of the books that we have read has kind of been like, it's not put into the perspective of like the person that's actually going through it. They've all been the perspective of like someone else going through it, if that makes sense.
Well, no, because the one that we just read, the 7 days, I feel like that was like the person, whatever that person was going through, like we read what they were going through. And then like,
That's the book we read before this.
That was a different world.
Oh, it was
Right,
such a
it feels
lighter
like it.
world. I mean, even if there was darkness there, that was just so much better.
this book kind of fucked you up, Cindy, huh?
It almost smelled bad. Like, I don't know what, I don't know how to describe it. It's got a funk. It's like, it was just so musty and
I think it's funny that we're going from this to like all these super dark, haunted, paranormal, like
Yeah.
not a big change up for next week.
Right.
So
Okay,
be ready to continue the
is
nightmares.
disturbing. Like this is like disturbing. Like I don't know, like spooky stuff. That's like one thing. It's supposed to be horror, but like this, some of the stuff, like with the like, they should have a trigger warning for some of this.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
agree.
Trigger warning was the description.
I still,
Well,
still some of it. I was just like,
yeah, I mean, I think Abby said something about that. She goes, like an essay trigger warning, like, cause they go into it. Like,
yeah, when I was
especially-
researching like the books, because that was one of my recommendations in the beginning, I didn't realize that it was under
It's your book,
psychological
Sonia.
thrillers. I was like, oh my God, this looks cool. I like the title and it looks cool. Let's play it.
she
And
went for
then
literally, we said cult classic. She went for an actual cult.
I did.
Okay, because I was like, wait, let me look up what a cult classic means.
Because I was saying the same thing.
Because look,
dead Salia. When I realized, when I opened the book and I was like, I've never heard of this, and I like got to like the first few pages, I was like, wait, I think this is about a cult. I was dead. Like I was actually laughing out loud.
She went a little literal there.
Yeah, I did.
This
I was
is
like,
why I understood the assignment a little too well.
I did. Just a tad.
So, where did we last leave off? Like, what do you guys last remember reading, or I guess from like where we were starting to read, from the last meeting?
What I remember, wasn't it chapter like 8 and 9 where
It was
Um,
8.
it was 8, right? We had already gone past her meeting Russell for the first time.
Right.
We've already gone past her and her mom having like, kind of like her meeting her mom, and then the whole situation about the guy moving out or something, like something happened with her mom and the dude.
Yeah, with
The
Frank.
dad. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember what happens, honestly. It's just like,
I want to say, from what I remember, I don't know if this is maybe like in the further chapters after, but like, didn't she like rob her neighbor's house?
She
yeah.
had the
That wasn't
people
like-
over at her neighbor's house.
Right. But that, I feel like that's probably like the chapters after 8.
Yeah.
That's chapter 10.
Okay. So what happened in chapter 8?
Yeah, anyone can chime in if you want to. Charlie, Alex,
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up right now.
I don't know. Just a lot of
Oh, Connie. She ran into Connie.
again, right?
Yeah,
No.
she ran into Connie again. She went to like a fair, but was that also chapter 10?
Yeah, I think that we didn't discuss that. Did we discuss her like stealing from the little boy next door?
Was
The
that with
little
her
kid that-
friends or?
Is that the little kid that she's like, oh, I'm better than him? Like he's looking at me like all whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh. I don't know if we discussed that. We discussed her meeting him, but
Yeah, what
Not-
happened? I think that's chapter 7 because she ends up stealing money from him. But that was the end of chapter 7. After that, it was like she was like, I finally know my power when it came to this because of Russell and blah blah blah.
Yeah, and I think she then robbed his house though in like 10 or 11. Because then isn't that when her mom like sent her off to her dad's and like she
yeah.
was there for a few weeks?
Oh,
Yeah.
Mitch, right? Or whatever his name is.
Don't get me
The-
started on him.
Yeah, like her and
He's like
Suzanne
that.
and Mitch get together. Isn't that chapter 8?
No, so I think that's
Alex.
chapter. No. So I think that's chapter 9 because they were asking to go to her house.
Oh yeah, it is.
And
I
she
just
was
asked-
like, I'm not really comfortable with them going to my house, but I know a place that they can go. And then the mom finds out, and that's when the mom sends her to old
No.
boy's house.
So she
I'm
does
talking about
hook up
when-
with Mitch in 8.
Yeah, so when
Yeah.
her and the threesome that takes place,
Yeah,
where she's highly uncomfortable
Yeah.
and she's just trying to do things with Suzanne.
right.
Sure.
That's
Yes.
I'm like upset, y'all. Like I'm upset.
Oh, tell us how you felt or just reading that chapter.
Chapter 8, I was pissed. I
Mhm.
was pissed that that this happened, and also that this was just in the book. Like I'm just minding my own business, reading the book, and some of the stuff, I'm not gonna repeat it, but some of the stuff I was like, I didn't know that I was getting into this, like I didn't know, like I'm serious. I literally was like, okay, like I think I sat up a little straighter because I was like, I didn't want to read that. Like, like, I don't know. It just was upsetting because she was a child, 14.
Yeah.
She was a baby.
Mhm.
Like,
Alex, do you feel like that's like you feel like the book could have continued without that scene itself, like introducing that, or do you feel like that was an important scene? Or
I feel like the way the book was written overall as like disturbing, I feel like I don't want to say necessary, but I think it helps you understand her relationship and like her feelings towards Suzanne a lot more. I think it probably could have been illustrated in a different manner where Mitch didn't like basically rape them both.
right.
But yeah, I think the disturbing nature of the book, I have to say I wasn't surprised that this happened, but I don't think it was necessarily a necessary addition, but it did help us understand her feelings for Suzanne, that's for sure.
Especially since after that, I feel like it heightened it as well.
Yeah, it
Because
became
she
much
felt
more
some
like a
level of exactly.
yeah, for sure.
I almost say they could have just implied the scene, but
Yeah.
however we need to understand, right?
Kind
Yeah.
of like House of
They could have
Dragons. If
given us
anyone
like
watched
a
that.
2000 version
Yeah.
of a sex scene where it fades to black.
How do you fade to black in a book?
Not gonna be sexy.
Next chapter.
Like,
End break.
It's
Have
like
a nice little ellipses at the end.
yes, it's like
Yeah.
Mamma Mia, where she's like and dot dot dot.
Oh, yeah. There needed to be a musical number in this book. That's for sure.
Oh my god, that would be actually the darkest thing they could have done on this book.
No, literally, like have a satirical like break and like,
Oh my God.
and that's how the cookie crumbles, literally.
Yeah.
And I think from that moment on, I think that kind of, and let me know if you guys feel the same way. I feel like that kind of set the tone of her attitude throughout the rest of her life, because she was just kind of like, I don't want to feel this. This didn't happen, but I got to be with Suzanne. Like,
Yeah.
and then because we were wondering, like, why is she so like, I don't know, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, especially with like the other kids, like the younger kids when she's older.
Associated.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna say almost dismissive, but dissociated is definitely a better word for it. Because I was gonna say her relationship with that girl, I can't remember her name, but
Sasha.
yes,
Mhm.
she I felt was super dissociated when she was like telling it back to her. And almost I feel like her line between like I'm an adult and this is a child got blurred somewhere too, in a sense, because I feel like she never really
Got that.
she never really got that like clear line when she was a kid. She didn't know what was
Appropriate, what wasn't.
right.
Hmm.
Good point.
That's a good point, yeah.
Do we think that looking at Sasha and Julian's relationship, was she like, whether she was saying it or not, was it kind of a representation of Susanna and her relationship?
Mhm.
Like a parallel kind of, or
Kind of, because like I think Julian was like pretty, I mean, he was him too. There's so many, there's not really one likable character in this whole book. But like he was often dismissive to Sasha, and like she even like said like Sasha probably was like trying to like insert herself into the conversation, insert herself into the stories, and like Julian, it was like dismissive, and I feel like Susanna was like often like that of whatever her name is, Evie.
Mhm.
Yeah, except for when it benefited her, which
Exactly.
I think Julian did as well, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think to a certain extent, because I know there was conversations that what's her name, Evie,
Mhm.
had with Sasha that were like, you don't have to, take that from him, or like, you don't have to do that, which I knew Susanna would have never said to her when she was, in the cult and all that stuff, because they're all drinking the Kool-Aid.
Literally.
Like, yeah, I feel like but I don't know. I feel like also like Suzanne had her fair share of abuse when it came to Russell and everything like that. So she's just as much as a victim as Evie was.
Mhm.
Unfortunately.
So what's another?
Unfortunately, guys, I do have to go.
Okay, bye, Andre.
Love y'all. Bye.
Oh, friend. There's this. What else? There are kind of pivotal moments in this. Like there's that, and then there's she. meets with-
Oh, Frank starts to become nice to her, like an actual father figure in a way.
Well, yeah, I feel like he's checking off the boxes. Kind of. That's kind of how I read it. I didn't. Maybe not. Maybe I read it wrong. Was he not just kind of like trying to be that dad, like make up for lost time and say the right things or whatever?
Well, he kept her secret about stealing the money.
Mhm.
Well,
So I feel like that was like an offering.
And
her.
even when he took the hinges off the door and like took the door off and whatnot, he was just kind of like, she said that she could see that in a way, like he was actually a little bit upset, but not in like a upset, so like just like sad that she was having to go through that.
Mhm.
I think a lot of what we get from Frank towards the beginning, I think the reason there's such a shift is because our narrator Evie has such a shift. Because I feel like when she got caught at the neighbors is like when Frank really starts kind of more ticking off those boxes. I mean, you could even say it's not like he was an amazing father figure or anything, but I think he started coming around to that a little bit more as she started kind of realizing maybe what's happening at the ranch isn't
The best thing.
right. I think when she started questioning it, we started getting a different side of Frank because the narrator was seeing a different side of Frank.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Mm.
That makes sense.
That's good.
Whereas like at the beginning, she was so hardcore against Frank and her mom because like
Yeah.
it's
I wonder-
everything a kid doesn't want, you know?
Damn, I must have skimmed over that one because I was like, damn.
He's like, I don't know fuck about.
I was gonna say, do y'all want to talk about the crazy the killings?
The detail was just, that was a lot.
Ah,
And unnecessary, I felt.
oof.
Let's talk about though, right before, oh, actually, I want to kind of break down how her and her dad's girlfriend, their relationship dynamic. Because I started like loving it, just like listening to it, because at first she wasn't vibing and she's like, fine, you know, this is something we have to do. But then like they actually started to kind of bond over, making fun of the dad and stuff like that. And sometimes it became like trouble in paradise situation. But I don't know, I thought it was very sweet that she was able to see her as just another human being versus just like this idol, that she saw her as like the person that took away my father from my mom.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know if anyone else felt that, but maybe I'm just.
No, I did. And she ended up trusting her enough to call her.
Yes.
Left on the side of the road.
Mhm.
So wait, was Tamar cheating on the dad? Is that what I picked up? When she went and got orange juice, I was a little confused. She was not getting orange juice, right?
That's not what she didn't come back with orange
She didn't
juice.
come back with it. Okay. Was that implied that the dad knew? Because I was a little confused.
I just thought that she needed space. I didn't necessarily think that she was
Oh.
cheating.
Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't think she was cheating. I just thought she was getting ready to leave. Like I thought she was
She doesn't
like
need to cheat. She could just go.
preparing herself to deuce out.
Mhm.
Well, because I only thought that because earlier, like a chapter earlier, she did say something like whenever she's gonna leave my dad or something like that. And so I was like, is she leaving him for another man or just leaving him, period? Like that was like a whole confusing scene to me, but maybe I was overthinking it.
No, I could see how you would see that though.
I like the way that they described her as like, we're just another story in her life that she's going to be living, and then she'll move on to something else.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, they're not lying. Because I mean, that's
I'm like,
like
what a mature way to think of that like any 14-year-old I don't think would ever think that way. Like 14-year-olds are like, this is my world, y'all are just living in it.
right.
And she's like, wow, I'm just a little blip in this lady's life.
Well, I
But
think it's interesting how she sees herself against people. She sees herself so. That's just kind of like the premise of her life. Is to
Replaceable in a way, or like,
say that it just seems you could just tell how low she thinks of herself toward
Yeah.
against
She
other
has
people.
no self-worth, no self-esteem. Yeah.
Like, damn, not even your own world. Are you the main character?
Right. Like,
know.
shit.
But
so yeah, so then let's zoom on past. Well, I think it's really, do you think that Suzanne did that for her benefit, or do you think that she like kicked her out of the car because she didn't want to ruin the plans of what they were going to do? What do you guys think?
I'm
Yeah.
terrible at that one. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think, Charlie?
I don't think she did anything for anybody else's benefit but her own.
Yeah,
I think she thought she was gonna mess up the plan.
I agree. Because I mean, even bringing Evie into the ranch and like to meet Russell was for her own benefit. It wasn't for Evie's benefit or because she like thought she was spunky or anything like that. It was because Suzanne knew she had money and she could wring it out of her, basically.
Mhm.
And I'm not okay. So that scene was kind of interesting to me because I'm not super like religious, but I do believe in like there's things that just work out in your favor. Like you have good karma that happens to you. And I think she's just, for me, I think because Suzanne is who she is, I guess how do I phrase it? Something out there was protecting her. And maybe Suzanne wanted to kick her out because she was Suzanne. But I think Evie was just like this ignorant little girl. And to have been caught up in that, I don't think would have been fair because it's almost like she didn't get a chance to like think about it in like very rational mind because she was so young with everything happening. So for her to gotten kicked out almost was like a little like an angel telling her like just in a weird way. I don't know. I just, you know, when things just like, you're like, why is this happening to me? I hate it. But like
Yeah.
you dodged a bullet, basically.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like that was. I don't know.
Yeah. I also kind of questioned like when she brought it up, if she hadn't have been kicked out of the car, like would she have gone through with it? Like, did any of you guys, what did you guys think about like, would she have gone
Would
through
she have
with
gone
it?
through with it?
Yeah.
I don't think she would have.
Not
Yes,
with
because she's a weak bitch and she'll do whatever she can to make people like her.
Yeah, I think so. too.
Okay, Abby's here.
Well, damn.
I have entered the chat.
Abby's entered the damn chat. Okay. Well, what do you think? Well, you don't think that she had some character growth between that and the kicking out of the car?
No, she did, but still.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think she would have done it. No.
Yeah, me either.
Because
Because
I
it's
think
like-
she's always observing the evil. She wasn't necessarily partaking in the evil, is what I gathered from her.
But
I
that was
think-
another. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think that if Suzanne had told her to do it, I think she would have
She
done
probably
it.
would have.
I think that was the level of obsession after that night at Mitch's house that she trusted Suzanne so like fully and was like, this is my person, that if Suzanne told her to jump off a cliff, like she would have done it. Because she was so lost in like herself. Like we were just saying, she had absolutely no self-worth. She didn't know who she was. She had no like determination on her own to make her own choices. She was letting Suzanne make it up until the very moment Suzanne decided to kick her out of the car, you know?
Mhm.
But there are some little moments that she has that are kind of like salvageable. Because I mean, she could have easily had them go to her house and steal things from her house, or disturb that. And I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like there could be like moments where because if she did this, she wouldn't have done like the killings. But that's the only one I could think of.
Yeah, you're like,
This was another part of the book actually that I do appreciate, the fact that it really makes you, I think what's happening is the author's trying to make you see like how people can do things like this. The fact that she's like, would I have done it? Like, because most people are gonna say like, of course not, or whatever. But like deep down, it's like, well, would I have, knowing my mindset in a situation like that? And I think I did appreciate that part of the book. I do think she would have done it, and I feel like they set it up so nicely because you really saw like what was like happening. They were malnourished. That like does things to your brain. They were doing all sorts of different types of drugs. I think also probably being malnourished and doing like things like also like probably has some type of effect on your brain as a combination. Because you saw like how Nico like fell into the pool, and it was like his own mom was like, why are you freaking out? Or like, like people are like, what's the big deal? I think that was right before the murder. So it kind of showed you like what was happening, like
the psychosis. Yeah.
yeah. And so I did like that part of the book because it was like, it kind of, I think that maybe is part of the point of the book, is to kind of show how people get caught up in stuff like this.
Mhm.
And so I thought that was interesting, the fact that she was like,
Even
yeah,
question myself.
maybe, yeah. But I wanted to ask, I was confused, and maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but wasn't her name like associated with the ranch, or am I wrong? Because they never like, it seems like she never like went forward to the police, or she never like told anybody really. But I thought that Sasha and Julian and stuff like knew. I thought they like had said her name was like in like online, or am I
I
making?
think if I remember listening it correctly, Donna, the one that acted like a baby, started blabbing her mouth.
No,
About, like-
it was not Donna. It was someone else. It was Eden something.
Helen.
Helen. Yeah. She started blabbing her mouth like to like one of her cellmates. And that's when more of the information started coming out. And I guess that's when they also started hearing about who was involved in the killings, because apparently they got away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until that happened, until she decided to open her mouth. So
Mhm.
I think like, I want to say because her mom's neighbor, her mom's friend saw her with those kids and all this other stuff. I think that's when talks got around that she was involved, but she was never
Officially involved, like
Right.
wise.
right.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, okay. I read the last chapter is a little weird, but so the description of the house and the killings, did she read that or was she there? Because I'm just confused. I'm genuinely
She read that.
She read that.
okay.
That was from the girl who was in like the cellmate, right?
Gotcha.
No,
Yeah.
I think she's talking about Evie. Are you talking about Evie?
Yeah, about them begging for their lives and then this, that.
Well,
and
Helen,
third.
I think she's saying Helen is the one who gave that information to the
Oh, gotcha.
because even in that like situation, she was like, and like the only one that wasn't described in detail was the little boy. But
Mhm.
they still described, that's what upset me, because I was like, okay, thank God, at least they're not going to describe this one. And then they still described it too much.
Well, I think that was like her imagining that Suzanne would have been very like have been nice while doing the act. And like she said, that's what I would have imagined Suzanne doing. Not like this is what happened. It could have been a lot more gruesome, but that's what she pictured.
Almost like I, stabbed him and it's almost I'm giving him like a present or something like that. So
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Yuck.
that was, I mean, very descriptive. Whoever sang like Canary gave all the details. Like, wow. I don't
I'm gonna
know.
hand it to you guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't said anything because I was too scared to read that end of the chapter. But as you guys were talking, I was reading what was going on. Yeah, I understand. I understand. This is bad. This is really bad.
So did we ever figure out, because I don't think I may have like, I don't know, I may not have been listening when she started talking about how they ended things with the children when she was older. Like, how did they end that? Like,
Didn't they give him over to foster people or?
Yeah, so-
no, I'm talking about the kids like that she was like seeing, like she's older and she's telling the story to the kids. Like, how did that situation
Resolved.
Yeah.
You're talking about with Sasha then?
Yeah.
I think they just
Oh.
left.
Yeah, I think Sasha and Julian or Julius, whatever his name was, I think they just left the house and she
Yeah.
was
On someone else's radar again.
Yeah, it was kind of like a blip. Like they were kind of just there so she can tell her story. And then towards the end, she was like, she gets like this really anxious like feeling that this guy was like following her. And
Oh,
then it was weird. I was like, girl, why are you so pressed? Like, stop.
Well, I think it's
Like,
when she still has PTSD. Like, even though she has this weird personality
Mhm.
where she's like, she still is in that place of like wanting to be wanted, like her 14-year-old self was, like with Sasha and Julian and stuff. And like, she's like, maybe I would have killed those people. At the same time, I think it shows that she still does have PTSD from the whole.
I didn't mind that scene because it was just like, oh, so you do actually have some kind of, because you just look so chill about just all the things that happened to you. So it
I
actually,
think she also feels bad that she never got caught. And in a way, like that's her, like it's finally coming. It's, like
yeah.
it's like finally coming up to her that like this was going to be happening, because she was just kind of living in fear that like either like an agent was going to come and arrest her because she left her duffel there.
well,
or
I think she's sick in the head because she's almost sad that she's not pursued for getting caught. She's like, nothing happened. They get the beautiful tell-all 60 minutes and I get I'm like, girl,
Yeah, but I'm never mentioned. Yeah.
yeah, they're on death row. Like they're not.
I'm sure they would be happy to trade places with you.
right.
Okay. That's why I'm like, you're sick. Like you're the sick one that just didn't make it into jail. Like you could.
That's part of the reason that I think that she would have done it too, is because like clearly she was sick in the head too.
Right.
Yeah.
It's almost like she wanted to be rewarded. That's why it sounded like to me.
Yeah,
that
she
shit.
wanted the attention. That's what she felt was validating in her life, was any sort of attention, where it was good or whether it was good, bad, like whatever. She needed that for her own worth.
Yeah. Wow.
A weak bitch.
Which is crazy because she like criticizes her mom for like wanting attention from her dad or from other men or like whoever. And it's like, you're doing the same thing. Like maybe it's not for like men, but like it's for Susanna. It's for anybody, honestly, I feel like.
Yeah. That was the biggest, like, oh my God, really, girl? Like that's what you took from that?
Did anybody like a character?
That's a hard question.
The grandma. I don't know.
Did anyone like the book? Let's start there.
You know,
Like I said, like the cover.
Yeah, that's about it.
no. Literally. I
That's
think
all I can say about it.
I'm curious to know who were the acclaimed critics who said this book was going to be in a cult classic.
Right. Like
because
there was a mass amount of people who were like, hell yeah,
I don't
the entire
understand.
time.
And if they
Yeah.
actually enjoyed this, then that's kind of creepy.
No, because I read a review on Goodreads and this person was just jizzing all over how good this book was. And I'm like, you reading it?
Alex,
I'm waiting. Waiting.
Alex and I were talking the other day about how like Alex and I both know like quite a bit about the Manson family, and like she literally, like I thought she was gonna change it, but she didn't. Like she literally copy and pasted the entire Manson family story.
Yeah, like down to very
So,
specific
Yeah, so we're like, how did this woman get famous? She copied a story that actually happened and put different names on the characters. Like I don't understand how this.
They did a cover on Charles Manson.
There are books, there are movies, there are documentaries. I'm like, what? I don't understand why this book got
It's
so
riveting.
fucking successful. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
a bit
really just
odd.
exists in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like a fake out, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think
oh well.
it definitely what's it called? It fosters conversations about making right choices.
And and
Curious to know, can I ask, what do you think the overall like theme of the book? Because I know everyone had a different perspective, like this is
What the
not-
lesson and moral of the story is? Or something?
right, what the moral of the story.
don't be a dumb bitch.
Don't-
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
or like don't want to be wanted that bad, like where you lose your
Yeah.
control. That's just like
I think it's like have your sense of self. You need
Yeah,
to
I
have a
was
sense of self.
I
Well,
think
that's
it's
like
big
hard
in
because go ahead.
self-worth. I was just agreeing with Abby. I think it's like big in your self-worth. Like your self-worth doesn't come from other people. It comes from within you.
Right. But like she really had no one around her to give her that lesson.
Yeah.
A
Like, to
lot of
teach her
people
that.
don't, but you got to learn it.
Yeah.
You have to learn it at some point.
stop it, get some help.
No, literally.
Go to therapy.
I think that like I don't know if it's I think there's like I mean I agree with that, but like I think also like there's a reflection in it, like I said earlier, like would you like how like what causes people to like fall into this, like because I think she had like a pretty well off life, like her mom was rich, whatever, and I think Susanna's family was too. Like I'm pretty sure like they said that like she was like well off or whatever and she ran away. And I think it's interesting because it goes back to our first conversation where we were like, okay, everybody, would you join a cult? And then goes back to those like conversations of, well, like one time, like this man asked me
Mm-hmm.
in his truck to look for a dog or whatever. And it's like, I said no, or like we got an Uber, but it wasn't an Uber, or like, you know, like it goes,
Right.
I mean, those are mild examples, but like, I think it just goes back to that reflection of like what causes someone to like fall into that and how easy it can be to just fall like
Yeah.
into.
I think that's actually good. You make a good point though, because it almost like, yeah, it challenges your inner like, like would I, if I was given those same cards, would I end up like her? Would I've ended up like her or even worse? which I don't know, that's a good point.
But I think it's hard for us because I feel like nobody here is that pathetic.
Or just that
We
stupid.
wouldn't be talking right now.
Right.
Not pathetic. Oh my god.
That's so true. I think also because of the way like what's it called? Like in schools, like they started already doing that in schools, like, hey guys, this is weird if a guy comes up to you and says this. Don't do it. You're gonna get kidnapped, you're gonna die, you know, type stuff. So I think back in the day, since they didn't think it was gonna be that heavily that bad, I guess. I think now that's why we're saying this, because
Well, that's the thing though, the way it happened, it wasn't necessarily even like guys approaching her in a van, a white van with like candy. It was like she was,
Friendship,
yeah, it was like she was
community.
exactly. And that's even kind of worse because it's like it's your decision. You have to decide to leave.
I was gonna say, like, it's not even like anyone ever approached her to come to them.
Right.
She was the one who,
willingly.
like, yeah, she was sprinting after them, pretending she stole like toilet paper or something. Like, it was never anyone approaching her or wanting her at that point, which I guess is another.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happened with Tom too. He was like really the guy who he gave a ride to her on the way back. He was like really like, oh, I want to come, but the difference between that is that he got there and he was like, you know, this is like this
Yeah, are you done? You done?
yeah, like, but at first he was like vibing, he was like in awe, even though it was like run down and whatever. And then he was like, wait a second, like the vibe is off here.
I think if he had gotten there around the time that Evie had, though, like come into the community at the same time, that
That's
he
when it
would
was
have had a different
thriving.
reaction.
Yeah, because that's when it was thriving.
Yeah. Because then by the time he got there was when they had no food, they were all going crazy. You know,
Mhm.
he saw
Can
a
we-
very different ranch than she did originally.
Can we talk about how when they got caught and like Russell like was heard to have ran and stuff, and how like women are just like, you know, just chilling, like, all right, you know, you caught us, and like how the author was like, it just reminded me of how strong the women were versus like the men or like Russell in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of like, damn right. I mean, unfortunate, but because like all of them had lice and everything like that. It was in a good situation. But I was like, yeah, that's what's up.
Kind of made me crack up though, like the whole arresting. It's almost like the movies, you know, like the scene at the end, like what happens to everyone. Russell gets caught, and then it's just like he's like yelling at the top of it, or what do you know what he was doing? Trying to
I know my rights.
I know my rights. Like just very ratchet and oh my god. But
Shrek when he's like getting pepper sprayed.
Yeah.
He's like, oh well. But like, yeah, no, that's honestly, it's wild to me that this book, I'm still kind of like, it's crazy as this book got like thrived on for literally.
remember we talked about if what's it called? We talked about if Evie was gonna make it up the chain of command, and
She almost did. She almost, if she would, she could. That's what I'd say.
She wanted to.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, so bad.
aspiring cult leader.
Inspiring.
Right.
That's on my resume there. I have
Resume.
the third bullet point down.
Project manager. I lead
With failed cult. That's not what you want to put down.
I'm a great delegator.
Oh my God, no, you should do
I'm
freelance. Freelance.
Delegation station. Right here.
Oh, freelance. Oh man.
Good job.
I think we should redeem this theme like next year with doing like cult classics again and like
Do
but-
good call.
but do cult.
We start our own cult.
We could have read the description, y'all.
And so-
We do.
That's true. It wasn't all Saya.
But I think definitely do cult classic again, because the books that we submitted, we can even just go back to that list and be like, listen, and then like add whatever.
Well, one was mentioned. Did y'all notice at the beginning of this, Valley of the Dolls was mentioned at the very beginning? I was like, oh my gosh, that was another one of her options.
Yeah,
I
that
think that's a movie too.
Yeah, and it has Sharon Tate in it, who was one of the
Oh,
victims. Yeah,
Ooh, the connection.
I know, very.
Spooky.
Well, I think there's 15 minutes left of this. Do we we can either talk about the next, actually, we've already submitted books. Do you guys want to talk about that at all, or?
Well, let's go ahead and set up the time for.
Oh yeah, let's
Wait,
do it.
we didn't rate the book though.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, let's rate the book. Sorry, my
Oh,
bad.
I thought we were reading at the beginning. I heard people say.
Oh, we were already throwing that out there. Yeah, y'all, whoever can start, Salia, you can start first.
Oh, T. Okay, so I would say, I'm not even gonna give it a description. I'm gonna say 3 out of 10. That's just how I feel. A 3 out of
Why
10.
do you feel that way, Salia?
Well, so I say 3 because of the cover. I really enjoyed the cover. Very nice. Storyline, would I want? It's like something like, to me, do I want to read a book again? I wouldn't want to read this book again. Truth be told, it'd be one of those like one and done. No, like even The Burning Girls, I'd read that again. I'd rather read that.
Actually,
So
for real.
that's how much I didn't enjoy this book. And that's all I have to say.
So what was your score again?
3 out of 10.
Oh, okay. You want to popcorn to the next person?
Yeah, Alex.
I think I would give it a 5, maybe. No, I'd say a 4 because I didn't like that it was basically just copy and pasted the details of the Manson murder, and like even so far as the community they created, calling it the ranch, and like just every detail was copied, and that really bothered me. I will say that I thought the author is a good writer, though. I think like even her descriptive words that were sometimes disturbing at times, I thought it showed her talent, which is why I think I would give it a 4 and not like a 0. But
Would you read any one of her other things?
no, I've never read her before.
Would you? Is that what you asked? Would you or?
Yeah, would you?
Oh, would I? Yeah, I'd probably read another book by her just for the fact of I think she's a good writer.
Mhm.
But yeah, I would be interested to read another book because by her to see if she's a good storyteller, because I think she's a good writer. Like words, I kind of felt like smarter as I was reading it. Like I had to look shit up sometimes.
Mhm.
But I don't think being a good writer and being a good storyteller always go hand in hand. So I'd be interested to see if she was a good storyteller, since I thought this one was kind of just copied.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So not good this one. So if you were to read the next one and it's the same thing, then you're just kind of making your
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Her other book in the back, like advertised, it seems more disturbing. It's called Daddy. And
I'm done with this girl. I'm never reading
Just
this.
say, Daddy?
and exploring the dark
He's
corners.
blurred
of
out. It's like so bad.
I'm like,
Like, blurred out on side of the screen.
Wait, Charlie, what is it about? What's it saying?
it's like a story collection, exploring the dark corners of the human experience. And I was like, what was this?
What experience?
Oh,
What experience did this person go through?
Oh, Lord.
I don't like that.
No.
What was
Abby, what would you rate? Oh, sorry, Alex, did you want a popcorn?
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay. Abby, what
Wrap
would
it
you
up.
I think y'all know. I think y'all know what I'm gonna say. I think I'm being generous by giving it a fucking 1. I just don't. I can't think of a single thing I like about it. I think she spent most of the book describing things that weren't important to describe.
Yeah.
I think she wasted a lot of time on irrelevant things. She copied an entire story. Like, I hated it. I'm not gonna lie. I hated it. I hated it. I would never recommend it. I'm gonna forget it existed after tonight.
I'm returning it.
I'm returning it.
With the pages all creased and everything.
Literally. I kind of ironed it out.
Okay.
Bev, what would you rate this?
I would rate it, considering I barely read anything, but from what I read, one, it's not the type of genre that I like, but secondly, I'm just, you know what's funny? I actually like the gory stuff. I like the creepy. I just, it's something about her writing. I got bored too quickly, and I can't keep up. And I wasn't getting interested unless it was getting like scary and like twisted. Then I was like, oh, okay. So I don't know. I guess I would say 1.
So that when you say that, do you comparing this book to
Burning Girl.
Burning Girls? Yeah. What would you think could be better? Because you mentioned you like the suspense, gory, all this other stuff. So
Burning Girls was better than this one.
Burning Girl's way better.
100% better. Even 100 times better. And I even thought Burning Girls was boring.
even with the 30 characters that were in the book.
Yes.
We had to have a tree. We had a tree part.
We made it work. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was this one was different. This one was different. And maybe if I reread it again, maybe a second time, but I don't know.
So it's not even worth that.
It's not worth that, yeah.
Harley, let's hear your vote.
I'm gonna go with Salia and give it a 3. Main thing that pissed me off was that I think the actual idea had potential, and I hate when an idea has a potential and they screw it up. Like cults, like a lot of people like to read about cults. It's like interesting, it's fascinating, like true crime, interesting, thrillers, like fun, and she just totally messed it up. One, by literally copying another story that is the true story, but also there's a way to deliver suspense in a way that's like tasteful, I think. And like I think I y'all know I like the Burning Girls, and I think that was done like nicely, like, or even like The Couple Next Door.
Yeah.
Like, if baby would have been stabbed, I would have been mad about that too. Like, I don't know, like there's just like
There's a way to go about things.
to go about it, and I do like thrillers and I like horror, but I don't like this I don't like gory types. And I do agree with Bev that it was boring, I thought. And so that main reason is that I think it had such good potential, but it didn't.
Agreed.
Yeah. Did you already know?
Oh no, I didn't go. I was gonna say it sounded like you had something to piggyback off of that, Cindy.
Oh,
But-
no. Well, are you gonna go or?
Yeah, so I would give it a 3 or 4, only because
Make it 3 or 4 because I'm giving the average for this.
okay, 3.
Okay.
Only because like the way it started was the way it ended. It was just very dull, and then it ended just very dull. And even like she wasn't necessarily even part of like the killings, which would have probably made it a little bit more exciting, and then her getting away with it. But she wasn't even part of it. She was just kind of like a bystander, which made me annoyed, because then it's like, what are you complaining about? Why didn't you do anything good with your life? Why didn't you do anything with your life? Like, why wasn't this a pivotal moment for you?
Right.
And yeah, I just
Abby wanted to chime in.
I just thought it was like really sad. It was just like, I almost look at the character. I'm like, I hope I don't ever know
Like,
anybody, and I hope I never go through something like that, to where it's like something crazy happens to me, and instead of like becoming
Learning from it.
better, learning from it, I'm just kind of like, yeah, this was something that happened, and I've done nothing.
Right.
That's okay.
I'm going to give it a 2. I think I'm basically with everyone. I think the book was boring. But I think that like the writer has potential in other books if it wasn't like how it was basically curated, a copy of something else. Yeah, I mean, it just didn't take off like it should have. Like, you have such a good, even like a Manson thing, it could have taken off somewhere where we were like, oh my God, this is actually interesting, but it just because it was flat the whole time. It was like this.
Yeah,
And
it
then it was
was.
dark, and then it was like this. So
Right.
I'll give it a 2. I still don't understand where the people are coming up with like, this is like, put this book down, because I definitely put it down more time than I would have wanted to. So
Had to.
had to, or yeah, had to, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2 for sure. And I think this averaged out this book as our lowest rated book of 2.42.
Yikes.
Well, damn.
Yo.
I guess I won't be recommending my books anymore.
Yeah, girl, never again.
That wasn't your fault. It
It's
was
not your
I
fault.
should have
Talia.
just put
No,
cult
there's
instead
no
of
way that
a
you could have
cult.
known.
Yeah,
honestly, there were such good reviews, you would think it would have been a good book.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
True.
that is so true. But it's okay. My feelings aren't hurt. I just know I'm glad I read it and just been like, okay, cool, never again. But
Yeah, we're not identifying you with this. I just
No.
yeah, it's okay.
yeah. It's like,
When-
oh my
when
God.
honestly though, if you look at the front, you would think, oh my God, like 4 pages front and back, like the New York Times, the Washington Post, like
That's
this
what I
is gonna be great. Like,
Right? Oh, honey.
yeah.
It got all the people who never heard of the Manson family. Those
I
are the people who
think
read
so.
this book.
I think so.
True.
That has to be it.
Like,
Wow, this is critically acclaimed book.
Critically
Like, whoa, this shit is crazy.
Like, do
Yeah.
you have Snapped? Do you
Yeah,
have
'cause
anything
people actually
like, have you
died.
seen any of that?
literally, they think it's still like happening too. They're like, oh my God, maybe there's someone out there.
I'm like,
Yeah,
crab
you know
junkie,
why?
my favorite murder.
Oh my
and,
God,
like,
can you
and-
imagine if this actually happened?
Right.
Can
Now?
you just picture it?
But I think it's also because you don't get escapism with this book. It's just too fucking real. Like,
It
girl,
is.
this could happen to anyone right now. And I just didn't feel like I could escape in this book. And I think that was my
There
issue.
wasn't.
You're
Yeah, there
like going
wasn't.
from like work to like reading something very realistic. You're like,
Yeah,
ew,
there's a
what
lot.
the hell?
Chamomile and just sip into sexual assault. Like, what do you
So, okay, we've got 3 minutes left. Can we
Okay.
go ahead and figure out when we're gonna meet next?
I
Okay,
thought it
so
was in
definitely
March.
October, right? Isn't that what we discussed?
Right.
Yeah.
Can it
October 13th,
Whoa.
as in Friday the 13th.
relax? That's too far out.
That'd be a month out, girl.
That's way too far out. I was
I'd
thinking
say we could do
before.
that Tuesday, that 11th. I don't
The
know.
11th?
Well, do we want to start it like a little like
Yeah, because if we're reading a spooky book,
You want to
Yeah,
start?
I was gonna say, like,
the 4th.
Yeah, if we did the
Oh, you want to start on the 4th? Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah,
I
we
can
did the
just do
first
that.
week.
well, if we do like the 27th, we'll start it and like maybe finish it right at the end of Halloween. So we're like
True.
reading it throughout the entire spooky season.
4, 8.
But to be honest, it's already starting for me. Like I'm putting my like list together of like Halloween movies to watch. Because like I don't know, like I feel like after Halloween, like
Which is
I just do Christmas like after that. So
Feel like a
like
holiday
Oh my
vibe.
gosh, there's Thanksgiving, Charlie.
I don't do it. I don't like it.
don't do it.
Valid.
Then
Valid.
you skip
Charlie.
Thanksgiving?
Charlie, you'll appreciate this. Look at my Halloween tree.
Oh my gosh, it's so cute.
That's
No
so cute.
way.
You do
I
not
love
have
it.
a tree for Halloween.
Cute.
I'm
I'm so extra.
You can sit by it and read our spooky book.
Yeah.
Yes.
well. Did
Very
you, so what do we decide on the 27th or the 4th?
If we let's do the 27th, but that means this week we need to figure out the book we're reading.
Well, yeah, I don't know if that gives enough. Okay, so I have 2 people joining. Justin, we're actually a guy's joining and his girlfriend. Really cool. I don't know the girlfriend, but I know Justin, and I figure they're pretty cool. I'm gonna let them know too. So can we at least vote by the end of Sunday for the book, so that maybe we can start on the 4th, so that we could really think about this book and not rush it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Let's do that. And also, if anyone wants to volunteer as tribute to be the delegator,
I would say Charlie. Do you want to do
send,
it?
yeah,
You wanna be the
send text
moderator?
messages if you're up for it, Charlie.
Yes, I will.
Okay. Ooh, that'd be fun because it's like your theme and.
Exactly.
Okay. So wait, so we're gonna like just make sure are the new people in the group text?
Not
Not
yet,
yet.
but I didn't want to have them on here because if we were going to talk about this,
Finishing up the book. Yeah.
I'm adding
Yeah.
them now, and then we're going to kind of start talking about the new book, basically.
Okay, once you add them, I'll send a text and ask everyone to resend their recommendations by like should we
I've already actually sent the books to him, so he's going to vote on which one he wants. Or at
Okay.
least put the
well,
title.
but they have to go okay. Yeah, okay, that works then.
Do we
Or-
know if anyone that's gonna be leaving the club? Like,
I'll put that in the thing. Be like, can
okay.
you no hard feelings, just let us know. We'll remove you. Like it's
Yeah,
fine.
okay, awesome.
Okay, and then so by Sunday is when we need the votes in, and then our first meeting's the 27th, and we'll have the first 3 chapters read. Does that sound good?
Yeah,
So
right.
it's this Sunday, okay, gotcha, all right, and then the first 3 chapters by the 27th.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay. I'm just writing this down so I don't.
See, that's how I felt. As soon as I was like, yeah, I'll do it, I was like, okay, now I gotta actually pay attention to
Charlie
it.
kind of already did that.
Yeah,
so-
I get it. I did my best. My ADHD was.
You did so good, Meryl.
You
So,
did.
Happy.
so book by Sunday, just to recap, book by Sunday.
Okay.
We start October 4th,
27.
27th.
27.
September.
How did you forget that quickly?
What? My bad. So sorry, maybe it was like, yeah, so start 27th, okay, bet, and then we'll go from there. Okay, that's cool.
Well, should we get the votes in earlier than Sunday then, so people can like buy it and have
I was
time?
gonna say, y'all wanna get it by maybe.
Well, so if we do it Sunday though, it shouldn't take more than a week to get to you.
Do you guys wanna
how
get the book
But
by
then you have to
Thursday?
read it.
Sometimes it does. I order off thrift books and sometimes that can take a couple weeks.
Girl.
And then you
I'd rather wait. I'm trying to create less waste.
Why don't we have our book decision by this Friday so that people can start ordering their books this
Sunday.
weekend?
Yeah.
You know, just make it Friday, not Sunday.
Yeah, let's do Friday. then.
Okay. And then tonight was the deadline to like put your pick in, so people need to get that in if they haven't.
Yeah.
I
You
think
know what,
most of
Jamie,
us already have.
sorry, you know what, Charlie, go ahead and just text the group to resend their pictures if they can. So that way
Okay.
we can add them. It just kind of makes it all clean and everyone can vote.
Well, I mean, so why are we pushing it to Friday if they have to have it in by today?
We'll not have it in, but we got to get a vote in. So put whatever if you have one, put it in, but we're locking everything in on Friday, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So then you're gonna add the people, Cindy, and then after that, Charlie's going to put the message out, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll
Yeah.
start resending our books. Okay.
Yeah.
And what was this, so I can tell everyone? It was 2.4, 2.0. What was the rating? I was like
2.42.
Just about.
2.42.
Ridiculous.
This is the hard category to pick because I want to vote for every single book that everybody has suggested.
Right.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you.
They
Y'all
all
had some
really
good recommendations.
Everyone has very good recommendations. I agree.
But also, I don't want it to be like Salia, to where it's like you read mine, it's like really shitty. So just like take your time.
I don't feel like mine probably might be. So I'm like, I don't know.
I will take it personally if you guys.
Alex, I don't know.
Okay. There's no crying in book club, everybody.
Yes.
Get
Yeah.
over it.
That should be a
Yeah.
shirt. We should get shirts.
No
We
weak bitches.
should.
No
Monetize
EVs.
this.
No EVs allowed in book club.
Absolutely.
Hey,
not.
that would be so cute. I feel like there's enough of us that we could do like a batch order of shirts that say like something like "There's no crying in book club" or something. Like,
Really cute.
That would be so cute.
Cindy, how does our YouTube channel look like right now? Are we monetizing anything?
Do we have
our
fun?
cut.
Do we have fun?
We're
Or
definitely not Mr. Beast, okay? I'll let you know that. Like,
Are we getting close to
This
Reese's?
isn't like
book
Reese
club?
Witherspoon.
Is she
No.
joining next time?
Right.
Good, like,
A little cameo.
Yeah.
Next
y'all
time.
don't try me because if Reese shows up on this shit, y'all gonna have other words to say.
No, Cindy.
No, she's not going to be here. She's not.
I'll
gonna
be
here.
indebted to you.
I'm sorry.
If she's there, then that means her group is gonna be there. And I think what's her name? Washington, Kerry Washington is in here.
She's an actress, I think.
She's
I don't
in-
know. Yeah.
She's in her club, her book club.
Is she?
I think
It's,
so.
it's worth $900 million. That's insane.
How does
Her
the
book
book
club?
club work
To
that
join
much?
her book
What do
club?
they do?
No.
Should we?
The value- like her book club has 2.1 million whatever readers, and basically she started a production company for her book club. So anything she recommends her book club, buys. So the value of the book club going into like production, making movies out of these books is like worth $900 million. It's
Oh shit. Dude, that's sick.
Like
So
where the
when can we
podcast
get
thing
that?
was her production.
what?
Like where the
Yeah,
Crawdad
like
thing that was
Yeah. Yeah, exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. Yeah.
So like Seven Husbands,
Yeah.
that's why it's
for
in production.
100
Wow.
million shy of 900.
Guys, everyone who's in this area, like we have to all meet up and go to that together whenever it comes out of the
course.
series.
Seven
Like we
Husbands.
have to.
Lion.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, Ryan, Charlie, Alex, make
Mhm.
sure you're in town.
Yeah, I'll make
Right.
sure.
Evelyn
I know,
Hugo?
her job. She's like,
Oh,
flying around.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, Alex, sorry, I don't mean to continue this. Have you watched The Flight Attendant on HBO?
I have. I'm not caught up on the second season. I think I'm like
It's
3
so good.
episodes in. It is really good.
I finished it. It's really good. Definitely recommend you continuing.
hmm
Oh, I
It's
love
not, I can't say it's exactly how the lifestyle is though.
I hope not.
It's a little glamorized.
Oh, okay.
I hope not.
Right. I haven't
Yeah,
murdered.
episode 1, I laughed out loud. I
Yeah.
laughed out loud at how
Insane
pretty
it was.
everything was. I was like,
Oh,
yeah, for sure. That's what it's like.
And her just slyly doing shots on the plane. I was like, "You're
Right?
joking." No.
I was like, there's no cameras, there's no like no one's keeping her accountable.
It's all
Anyway.
drama. All right, well, I'm gonna have to end this, y'all, but I will see y'all on the 27th. And I'm so excited, y'all, for this.
Literally.
Bye, love.
Yay.
Guys,
Bye, guys.
Gosh. Cheers.